Welcome to the Inner Code, where ancient wisdom meets modern resilience and where you come not to escape reality, but to master it. Here, we dive deep into the teachings of the greats, like Napoleon Hill, and bring them to life in ways that ignite your soul and awaken your power. In today's powerful journey, you're about to learn the art of unshakable control. You'll discover how to respond, not react, how to become calm in the face of chaos, and how to train your mind to move through life with silent dominance. We're not here to simply teach you how to cope. We're here to remind you that you were never meant to be controlled by anything outside of you. This is your awakening. So take a deep breath, let the world fade, and if you feel this message stir something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, share this with someone you love, and leave your mark in the comments below. We're building something real here, and you're part of it. Now, let's begin. The world does not reward the frantic, it rewards the focused. It does not bend for those who shout, but for those who know where they're going and walk in that direction like it's already theirs. You were not born to react, you were born to choose. And the sooner you realize that every reaction is a choice, every overthinking spiral, every emotional outburst, every surrender to distraction, the faster you take back what was always yours, the power. This is what they never taught you in school, that control is not about controlling others, it's about controlling your own mind, that freedom is not found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of inner authority, that success doesn't come to the one who works the hardest, it comes to the one who thinks with precision and acts with bold calm. The most powerful people you've ever seen walk as if something within them is untouchable, because it is. You feel it too, don't you? That pull towards something greater, not outside of you, but within. That fire that refuses to die, even when things fall apart. That sense that maybe, just maybe, you were meant for more than anxiety, more than approval seeking, more than reacting like a leaf in the wind every time life shifts direction. You were. And today, that version of you, the focused, fearless, emotionally unmoved version, is waking up. Napoleon Hill once wrote, "Control your own mind, and you may never be controlled by another." Let that sink in. Every time you let circumstances dictate your state, you've handed over the keys to your mind. You've given your energy to something unworthy of it. But now, something changes. You begin to train yourself like a warrior trains for battle, not with weapons, but with awareness. Because the first real enemy you face is your own conditioning. The urge to react, the need to be liked, the impulse to prove, the lie that your emotions are stronger than your will. But they're not. You are not weak. You are simply untrained. And from this moment on, that training begins. Step 1. Decide that you no longer respond to life as a victim. Not to people, not to setbacks, not even to your own thoughts. You don't ask, why did this happen to me? You ask, how can I rise because of it? You don't say, that made me feel this way. You say, I choose how I feel, and I choose clarity, not chaos. Your emotional reactions are no longer knee-jerk explosions. They are calculated responses forged by your vision, not your wounds. Because here's the truth. Emotional chaos is the enemy of progress. You cannot build a legacy if you crumble every time someone doubts you. You cannot become unstoppable if you stop every time life tests you. Those who succeed are not those who feel less. They are those who feel everything and remain unmoved. They've trained their minds to hold still while the world spins, and that right there is the difference. Most people live life backwards. They wait for circumstances to change so they can feel better. They say, if I had more money, I'd feel secure. If they respected me, I'd be confident. But this is the path of the powerless, the path of the puppets. You're not here to wait for respect, you're here to command it. through how you carry yourself, how you speak to yourself, how you walk into rooms without explaining or apologizing for who you are. This isn't arrogance. This is inner authority. And once you claim that, once you stop needing external permission to act like a powerful human being, you become magnetic. People can feel it. They don't know what it is at first, but they know you're not like the rest. You're still, you're sharp, you're silent when others panic, you're decisive when others hesitate, and you don't play the game of reaction, you play the game of creation. This is what it means to become mentally invincible. But understand this, the transformation won't come from wishful thinking. It won't come from positive vibes alone. It will come from repetition, from showing up for yourself in private long before the world sees you in public, from training your reactions until they become responses, from catching yourself in the moment, that second before the anger rises, before the fear creeps in, before the old story takes over, and choosing a new response. It's in the pause, that sacred pause between stimulus and reaction, where your power lives. Most miss it. They jump straight into emotional reflexes, but not you. You stop. You breathe. You question the thought. You see the bigger picture. And in that moment, you break the pattern. You rewire the programming. You become who you were always meant to be. It's not easy, but it is worth it. You'll be tempted to fall back into the noise, to check your phone, to argue, to please, to perform. Don't. Silence is your weapon. Clarity is your shield. Stillness is your revolution. Let people wonder why you're not reacting. Let them question your silence, because in a world addicted to noise, the calm one always holds the power. Remember this, the moment you stop being triggered, you become untouchable. Not because life stopped testing you, but because you stopped flinching. Not because people stopped doubting you, but because you stopped needing them to believe. Not because the chaos disappeared, but because you finally remembered. You are the calm. You are the center. You are the cause, not the effect. There's a point in every person's journey where the world tries to make them forget who they are. A moment where circumstances scream louder than faith, where fear feels closer than vision, where the mirror reflects uncertainty, not power. But here's the secret most never tell you. That moment is your initiation. Every master was once the fool. Every calm presence you admire today once shook in silence. Every unshakable force once cracked under pressure, until they made a decision to stop letting the external world determine their internal state, a decision to rise. And today, that decision is yours. You don't need the stars to align. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need permission. What you need is this, resolve. Not emotion, resolve. Emotion wavers. Resolve endures. Emotion reacts. Resolve responds. Emotion fears rejection. Resolve walks through fire. This is the willpower Napoleon Hill wrote of, the invisible force that separates the majority from the few who shape their own destiny. You don't develop it by hoping. You develop it by choosing, over and over and over, until your choices become who you are. This is the birth of discipline, and discipline, though not glamorous, is divine. It's what allows the mind to override the noise of the world, to wake up early when comfort begs you to sleep, to hold your tongue when your ego begs you to shout, to keep going when everything in you aches to stop. Most people admire discipline from afar, never realizing that it's not something you're born with. It's something you build, like muscle, like armor. You train it in private, you bleed for it in silence, and one day it speaks for you without a word. Imagine this, a challenge arises, a delay, a criticism, a failure. The old you would have spiraled, complained, given up, questioned your worth. But the new you pause, you breathe, you remind yourself, this is data, not defeat. You don't crumble, you calculate. You don't plead, you plan. You don't react, you remember. You remember your goals, your principles, your vision. You remember that temporary discomfort cannot shake permanent clarity. You remember that your future is not determined by how you feel, but by what you do. And so you act, even when no one claps, even when no one sees, even when the results are not immediate. Because that's what separates the great from the forgotten, the ability to act without applause. The masses wait to be motivated. The masters create their own momentum. And this is the mindset shift that elevates you beyond mediocrity. You stop needing energy to do something and start generating it. You stop being ruled by how you feel and start aligning with who you decided to be. There is power in not negotiating with your weakness. There is power in doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. This right here is how empires are built. And you are your own empire. You are the builder, the architect, the foundation. And if the structure of your mind is weak, it doesn't matter how beautiful the dream is, it will collapse. But when the mind is solid, grounded, trained, even the wildest vision becomes inevitable. So ask yourself, are your habits reflecting the person you hope to be? Or are they reinforcing the person you're trying to leave behind? Every choice either aligns you with your future or changes you to your past. Every excuse is a brick in the wall between you and who you could be. But every act of discipline, no matter how small, is a sledgehammer. You've been holding the hammer this entire time. It's time to use it. And yes, it's going to hurt. You'll have to disappoint your comfort zone. You'll have to outgrow people who cling to the old you. You'll have to become unfamiliar with your former self. But that's the cost of mastery. You cannot hold on to your limitations and your vision at the same time. You must choose. And once you do, once you say, I no longer entertain anything that weakens me, life begins to shift. Not because life changed, but because you did. You began walking like someone with a destiny. You began speaking like someone who's already there. You began thinking like someone who refused to be shaken by setbacks, noise, or the opinions of those too afraid to bet on themselves. This is the energy that bends reality. This is the presence that rewires outcomes, and it doesn't require you to be loud. It requires you to be aligned, still, steady, certain. That's what makes you unmissable in a world full of performers. People chase the spotlight, but power builds in the dark, and when it finally arrives, it doesn't need to be introduced. It doesn't beg to be seen. It commands presence because it is presence. That's the power of a mind that has trained itself to be unfazed. That's what you're stepping into. So yes, let others break under pressure. Let them be ruled by emotion. Let them wait for motivation. But you will move with purpose. You will show up without needing to be told. You will wake up with your mind already made. You will act like the person you are becoming, long before the world sees it, because that's the difference. The average wait to see it before they believe it, but the few believe it so deeply that the world has no choice but to follow. And now, you're one of the few. The question is, will you keep walking? Keep walking, even when your legs tremble, even when the path isn't clear, even when the crowd disappears and all you hear is your breath and your belief, because this lonely stretch right here is where most people quit. They think silence means failure, that doubt means they're not ready. But you're learning something rare, that the stillness is sacred, that the doubt is data, that the inner voice matters more than the outer noise. Napoleon Hill said it best. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Not final defeat, temporary. But most don't see it that way. They don't pause. They don't zoom out. They panic. They confuse a test for a tombstone. They mislabel a lesson as a loss. But you're waking up to something deeper. You're realizing that everything in your external world is a mirror of your internal state. And if the mirror reflects chaos, the answer is not to smash the glass, it's to change the face staring back at you. You do not fix the storm by yelling at the clouds. You fix the storm by becoming the sky. You rise above the reactive winds and return to stillness. You stop negotiating with fear. You stop explaining your hunger. You stop asking for someone to validate what your soul already confirmed. And here's the real shift. You stop identifying with the struggle. You stop saying things like, I'm anxious, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stuck. Because you're not. You're experiencing those things, but they are not you. They are passing guests, visitors. You are the observer, the one who watches, chooses, commands. When you forget that, you suffer. But when you remember, you reclaim the throne. Your mind is a kingdom, and you are either its ruler or its prisoner. You must decide every day who holds the crown. When the negative thoughts come, and they will, you don't fight them. You replace them. You don't beg them to leave. You bring in something stronger: gratitude, vision, discipline, command. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But there's a caveat. It's not just about belief. It's about persistence. The kind of persistence that isn't loud or showy. It's quiet, steady, ruthless in its consistency. It's waking up and doing the work without needing a reason other than, this is who I am now. It's showing up for your goals like they already belong to you. It's becoming the version of yourself that doesn't need a reminder to act in alignment because you've burned the bridge back to your former self. No more half effort. No more waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a lie the mind uses to delay your destiny. Clarity comes through action, not contemplation. Confidence comes from repetition, not reassurance. You become the person who has the results by doing what they do before the results show up. That's how you trick your brain out of fear and into faith. That's how you rewire the nervous system to respond with courage. You act as if until it becomes as is. And yes, it will feel fake at first. You will feel like an imposter. But let me ask you this. Who told you confidence had to come first? Who told you you had to feel worthy before you acted worthy? You've had it backwards. You don't wait to feel confident before you speak with power. You speak with power until confidence arrives. You don't wait to feel successful before you move like a leader. You move like a leader until success is inevitable. You don't wait for life to validate your identity. You live that identity until the world has no choice but to mirror it. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he said, when your desires are strong enough, you will appear to possess superhuman powers to achieve. But those powers are not magic. They are focus. They are emotional control. They are decision. You've spent years waiting for a breakthrough. Here's the truth. The breakthrough is waiting for you to act like you already have it, to speak as though the door is open, to walk like your vision has already arrived. Because once your inner world shifts, the outer world obeys. But it begins with discipline, not motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It disappears when things get hard. Discipline is dependable. It shows up especially when things get hard. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning after the crowd is gone, after the excitement fades, after the failure hits. It's what makes you get up at 5 a.m. when you'd rather sleep. It's what makes you hold your composure when chaos calls. It's what makes you train your mind like it's the most important asset you have, because it is. Let others treat their attention like a toy. Let them get distracted. Let them chase dopamine, but not you. You are on a mission. You are focused. You are unbothered. Not because life stopped throwing tests, but because you stopped giving it your peace. You don't beg for alignment. You become aligned. With every thought, every habit, every breath, you bring your emotions under command. You refuse to act from weakness. You reject the version of yourself that flinches, because that version is not welcome here anymore. You've evolved. You are not driven by your feelings. You are led by your decision. You made a decision to master your thoughts, to outgrow your triggers, to walk through life with clarity, with presence, with inner gravity that cannot be shaken. And now, you are that person, not in the future, now. If this message stirred something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey of mastery and mental strength. And if you'd like to go even deeper, unlock exclusive content and support this mission by becoming a channel member. Everything you need is already within you. We're just here to help you remember.